SFM and Gmod animations have taken up a significant chunk of my childhood. For better or worse, I have always been a fan of the absurdity of media that comes from creators both on and off of YouTube. Over the years, the medium has evolved from crunchy 2040p videos into lengthy lore-filled stories like the Unusual Troubles series, or even feature-length movies like Emesis Blue, who some argue to be a masterpiece. Today, though, I won't be discussing any of these works. Instead, I'll be covering a series that broke the ice for our younger generation and exploded into popularity, garnering view counts rarely seen in the genre. At this point, you may know a lot about it already. You just don't know why it became so popular. That's what I aim to explain in the first iteration of Why Is. Skibidi toilet may sound like some gibberish that you say to replace the very obvious swear you were about to utter in front of your kids, but the name refers to a series of SFM shorts that feature a head singing along to a song as it pops out of a toilet. It began as usual Gmod humor squished into a series of shorts, but over time it grew and mutated into a cinematic universe where two sides fight in a continual arms race, complete with lasers, explosions, giants, and waifus. The result is hundreds of millions of views across over 50 episodes and counting. It's nigh impossible to browse the internet without seeing a trace of Skibidi Toilet in some capacity.
There was something I really didn't understand a few days ago that blew up on Twitter with Skibidi Toilet.
It is everywhere.
I thought we were going to take a poopy in there. No, ladies and gentlemen.
Feels like, because nothing makes sense. I'm just like, this is scary.
That's the meme. Chat, that's the meme. That can't be real. That can't be real.
The cultural supernova that came from this seemingly innocuous series has left many people scratching their head. Why exactly has this series garnered unparalleled success? What makes it different from other Gmod and SFM content that separates it from its peers, to the point of astronomical virality? Well, the answer comes from a number of different things. Let's start with the series format. In recent times, YouTube has been actively trying to compete with new, short-form content on sites like TikTok. They have pushed YouTube Shorts onto search results, added compatibility features on mobile platforms, and worked advertising into it to incentivize content creators. As a result, a large part of YouTube's traffic is now on Shorts, and Skibidi Toilet rides on that wave. Not only that, but Skibidi Toilet Shorts also release alongside full-size videos with content normally cut off due to its aspect ratio. So even for those watching on phones, there is an incentive to tune in to a second version of the same content, pulling viewers further in. Now this explains the technical side, but what about the content itself? Why Skibidi Toilet over anything else?
Why do people like that?
The answer lies in its simplicity and familiarity. From the get-go, Skibidi Toilet establishes itself with a literal song and dance, featuring a silly character dancing to a similarly silly pop song. This may seem to be pure random humor, but I believe it is very deliberate. Today's content, particularly TikTok, revolves a lot around music and dancing. Some of the most popular clips on the internet in modern day come from just that combination. In fact, one piece features a guy with a ridiculous smile singing along to an awfully familiar song. This plays a big part in Skibidi's popularity, riding on trends and content that have already enraptured the eyes of millions worldwide, just with its own spin. With this kickstart in mind, Skibidi Toilet would have to expand beyond its roots, and expand it did. Not content with just being a silly Gmod meme, Skibidi Toilet gradually evolved itself to have a story and lore. It pulls a full 180 in its genre and takes on a narrative style that grows into apocalyptic significance, so far removed from the source material that the only recognizable things you see in the scenes are the distinct features of its characters. This prevented Skibidi Toilet from being just another one-hit wonder, continually pulling viewers back to see how the narrative progresses. Some who have scoffed at Skibidi Toilet before may have newfound interest after witnessing scenes of action, horror, and mystery. You might be wondering what could possibly be carrying this story, and that is where Skibidi's characters come in. You may be familiar with many big-name franchises having a cast of iconic characters, from Five Nights at Freddy's to Sonic the Hedgehog, Team Fortress 2 to Ben 10. Skibidi Toilet has those too. Aside from the eponymous Skibidi Toilet, there's also camera people, speaker people, TV people, titans, Skibidi Toilet mutations, and even specific characters within those groups that have garnered fame and infamy from the fanbase. One of them is even arguably considered to be bait for a certain type of viewer. Like other franchises, these characters have been adopted into widespread media across YouTube and elsewhere due to their iconic looks, the fanbase even creating their own stories, canons, and art. All of this served to bolster the Skibidi series' already growing popularity. This is where my final point comes in, and that is the type of people who watch Skibidi Toilet. Kids. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The majority of folks who consume Skibidi Toilet are the younger generation who, let's be frank, probably shouldn't have internet access.
Well, I think like 3 months ago, I just saw it randomly, and then I was like, oh, okay, this is like, haha, funny.
Properly now, how did you actually come across the Skibidi thing?
Yeah, we share the same account, so like his videos go through my phone.
Oh.
And I just started seeing toilets.
Are you actually into it?
I just like watching it. It's fun to watch it.
From the funny faces to the endless action, from the Fortnite dances to the literal toilet humor, all without the need for nuance, as the episodes are so blazing fast and there really is no dialogue. The episodic format of the series lends itself well to its audience because, as they say
repetition is good for a developing brain. Then just what do you think you're doing?
Of course, this isn't helped by the fact that there is now an army of moneymakers on the internet who churn out content that makes use of concurrent mascots and trends, making some of the most unhinged content that I have ever seen at an attempt to poke and prod at the algorithm to catch as many immature eyes as possible. What the With all of these things in mind, I'd like to take a moment to say my piece about the Skibidi phenomenon. There seems to be a lot of stigma surrounding the series, and this doesn't come from nowhere. The amount of unfettered insanity that has emerged from the series is nothing short of ridiculous. Even I found myself cringing at the concept of it, but curiosity got the best of me. Under all of the cultural mess is a piece of media that is really not bad. Obviously, I wouldn't call Skibidi Toilet a masterpiece like Team Fabulous 2 or MSS Blue, but it's good enough that it caught some mild interest from me, to the point that I sometimes check in to see if there's new episodes released when I've got nothing else to do. It's no wonder that kids seem to like it so much, and even with its weirdness, I don't see a problem with them watching it.
Look, this is clearly an animator who's put a lot of time and effort, 6 years of creating Gary's Mod animations, but the story itself is not a bad experience. Like, it was fun to watch. There's a coherent story.
But it's just something where it's like you latch onto something and you're so viscerally moved by it that you just want to be a part of the story. And to me, that's like the coolest part about like a collective on the internet liking something and wanting to like build something up together.
I'm happy that people are enjoying themselves, and I don't want to be a Grinch because God knows I liked weird stuff too. Maybe not this weird, but weird is very subjective and people like strange things, so whatever.
It's literally old Gmod shitpost content, but blowing up in 2023. 2023 years after the death of our Lord, and we are still appreciating Gmod content.
I couldn't have said it better myself. At the end of the day, Skibidi Toilet is the same SFM and Gmod nonsense that we've come to know by now. It's just that this time it hit all the right notes to become an internet sensation for a new generation of youth. A number of young folks have now taken to making their own content with 3D animation, inspired by something that to us is just internet trash.
Have you dabbled in that yourself? Have you done anything in that?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty okay at Source Filmmaker. know how to animate. I know keyframes. I know like jitter, did that shit, all of it.
Nice.
Sure, it is hard to understand, and it's certainly surrounded by sleazy Elsagate-style content that is probably unhealthy for anyone to watch, let alone kids. But do I blame Skibidi Toilet for that? No. Weird media for children has and always will exist, but Skibidi Toilet is at least harmless, and it introduces the youth to an entire branch of online content that is filled with real talent. With the advent of short-form content, reaching out to younger audiences has become difficult for those who are used to longer, more nuanced media, especially when a lot of the new stuff just isn't our cup of tea. But with the right ingredients and a bit of a childish approach, the Skibidi phenomenon serves as an example of a perfect storm that has successfully swept up the new generation and introduced them to the art of the old. And that is why Skibidi Toilet.
Skibidi double the name.